Welcome to the tour of the Application Service Adapter for Tanzu Application Platform 1.0. Now, just to recap, the Application Service Adapter is based on the Cloud Foundry Karifi project and aims to provide a Cloud Foundry compatibility layer for Tanzu Application Platform. Now, let's log into the adapter. So we already have a CF API set, and if we go here, we can actually log into this. And now that you'll notice, I am getting prompted for kubectl credentials versus a traditional account from Cloud Foundry. So I'm going to go ahead and select the credentials that I want to use with this. So it's using my kubectl config file now to authenticate to the system. And if I do, let's clear out here and do a CF orgs. I can see that I have an org called test already made, and do a CF spaces. I already have a space called demo already made. So the org and space constructs are recreated in Kubernetes namespaces. And if we go and run a kubectl command, we can actually see that here in action. And you can see that we have two Kubernetes namespaces prefixed with CF-, one org and one space. And those are those actual org and spaces that we saw above represented. And furthermore, if we go ahead and clear this, and let's look at some of the custom resource definitions actually provided by the adapter, and they are all covering many different types of workflows that are going to be covered by the adapter. We're going to dig a little into the CF apps custom resource definition here later. Now, if we look at my source code here, you'll notice that I'm in classic Spring Music directory, and I'm going to do a cat on my manifest file, and this is just a classic Cloud Foundry manifest that we're going to use to push the app to the adapter. So let's go ahead and clear this out and do a CF push. Now we're going to watch the push run. I might fast forward it a little bit here as it will take some time to run. We can see now that the build pack process is firing up. And we are using Tanzu build packs to provide the build pack functionality with the adapter versus the traditional Cloud Foundry build pack service. Now we can see that the application is starting. We have instances starting up. Okay, let's do a CF apps here. Clear and then a CF apps. We should start to see. All right, the app is still starting here. It started. Let's grab our app route. Go over to a browser. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. And go here. Now you can see that the Spring Music application is running on the adapter and everything's working fine. And this is kind of our classic CF push experience, as we all know from the Cloud Foundry and Tanzu Application Service days now on the adapter. Let's go ahead back and look at the Kubernetes side of the house a little bit. So if we look at the pods in the namespaces, you'll see that there's a pod running. And that's the actual application instance running. And then there's a build pod that was used by the build servers to create the container for us. And I'm going to go ahead and run a CF app as well, kubectl get a CF app. And that's going to actually, we'll notice the GUID on that matches very closely to the pod name running here. And then this is the actual name of the Cloud Foundry application name we gave it. So this is kind of mapping the Kubernetes native resources to the custom resource definitions provided by the adapter as well to kind of link the Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry workflows together. And we've already looked at the route provided, but let's go ahead and deep dive into that and see what's actually happening behind the scenes. So we have the concept of the HTTP proxy, or really they are contour resources running behind the scenes within Tanzu Application Platform. And if we grep for these strings here, we can see that we have Cloud Foundry routes defined. We have our route defined that we're using currently. And then we also have an API route defined as well. So the contour service within Tanzu Application Platform is acting as the Go router in a traditional Cloud Foundry deployment and handling all ingress traffic and TLS termination within the platform. Now let's go ahead and deep dive a little bit into services and, kind of see that next step of our traditional Cloud Foundry workflow here. So if we do a CF services, you should see that I already actually have a service defined, and this is a user provided service. It's a MySQL database in Azure, ready to go. So we're going to actually bind our application to this database. using the cf bind service command. Okay, and that's been bound to the application. We're going to go ahead and restage it just to ensure that it gets properly plumbed up to the system. And we may fast forward a little bit here too. Okay, the application has been restaged. Let's do another CF apps. Looks like we're still starting here a little bit. Okay, we have started, and if we go ahead and refresh this application, we should see now that the albums have actually changed because we're no longer reading from the in-memory database. We're actually reading from that Azure MySQL service database we provisioned. And we can see that the service definition is here, the Azure MySQL. And that is the full demonstration of the user-provided service functionality within the adapter. Let's go ahead and look at logs as well. Clear that out. So you can see here, we are getting some of our application logs as well. Let me do a -- recent because it's not getting a whole lot of traffic. And we can see all the application logs flowing from the cf logs command, which is actually taking all of the logs from the Kubernetes output and mapping that into, the Cloud Foundry output as well. So this is a brief demonstration of the application service adapter for Tanzu Application Platform 1.0 release. Thanks for your time. To keep up to date with the latest Tanzu news, please check out our new Tanzu Tech Zone site listed here.